Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the Raíces de Hacienda podcast. My name is Juan Vildosola. I'm a business advisor with the Empresarios program, and I am here with Jules and Seb.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hi, Seb. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're so excited to have you here. I'm Jules Morehouse, the Director of Human Resources.
All right, great. Well, the theme of today's show is the power of young leaders stepping into community work and shaping their futures. It's about how a summer internship becomes more than just a work experience. It's a chance to grow strong roots and community while discovering the wings to take flight into the future. With us today, we have Arturo, Kat, and Giselle, our summer 2025 interns.
Hello.
Hey.
Today's episode is called Roots to Wings. This summer, we've had the privilege of welcoming 3 incredible interns into our Hacienda family. Arturo comes to us from University of Oregon, Kat from UCLA, and Giselle from Washington State University. Welcome. Internships aren't just about building a resume. They're about discovering and building connection. Today, we'll hear about departments that these 3 fabulous interns spent their summers working in, what they've learned along the way, and how they see themselves carrying their experiences forward.
Let's welcome Kat, Arturo, and Giselle to our podcast, Raíces de Hacienda. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners and talk about which departments you were working on and what was your experience like?
Let's start with Giselle.
All right, my name is Giselle. I was with the philanthropy department and I really enjoyed my experience. I started back in May, so it's been really nice.
I'm Kat. I've been working with the Youth and Family Services Department. I'm going into my 3rd year studying public affairs and public health. And I started around June this year.
Hey, my name is Arturo Trujillo Bedoya. I work with the accounting, finance, and the HR department. I'm a rising 3rd year into the University of Oregon studying finance.
Nice.
How did you know to come to Hacienda? Like, did you hear about it before, or like, how was that decision like for you? Who wants to go first?
I think me and Giselle kind of had a similar, we had known about it just from knowing about the community and knowing people who work here. But I think, Arturo, you got it through your school, right?
Yeah, I got it through the Portland internship experience. So they had like a long list of other internships, but I volunteered for Hacienda previously, and my brother used to work here as well. So I kind of was interested because of that. And like I was already interested in finance and was looking for a finance internship, so I thought it was like the perfect opportunity or like the perfect mix of the two.
And I do know there was a lot of competition for that role, and we're really excited that you were the one to get it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm excited as well.
Yeah.
Great. So we're going to talk a bit about our personal roots and inspiration. Where did each of you grow up, and how did your community shape who you are today? Let's go with Giselle first.
I was born in Beaverton, Oregon, and then I moved to Vancouver when I was about 5, so that's all I've really known my entire life. And I think it's shaped my experience. I grew up in a predominantly like Hispanic neighborhood, so I think it really shaped who I am and my mannerisms. And my parents are both from Mexico, so it really has shaped who I have become now.
Me and Giselle actually grew up in the same hometown. We went to the same middle school and high school. So I had kind of a similar thing. I was born in Portland, moved to Vancouver when I was around 5 years old, actually. I think it was like the same age. But yeah, and for me, I think that growing up in communities that were predominantly Latino definitely had me more connected to this community, because I'm only 25% Mexican, and I think if I had grown up in a predominantly white community, that wouldn't have been a part of my identity that I even knew about or explored the culture of if I hadn't grown up surrounded by people who are very involved in it. So yeah.
I grew up in Southeast Portland. Not really many Mexicans in Southeast Portland. It's kind of like more of a mix between a lot of different races as well. But I was still able to find my Mexican community out there. I kind of just grew up with that. I grew up with people around me, and that kind of shaped the way I view. I tackle certain problems and the way I grew up. But yeah.
And when the 3 of y'all think about the word community, what does it mean to you personally?
I always think about sort of the sacrifices that we make for each other and what you're willing to do to help out other people around you, past just like what you would want to do for yourself. That's what I think of with community.
I think of more like similarly coming together kind of and working on something. Just because, I mean, growing up, we were very heavily reliant on community and kind of my family being my community as well and all coming together.
Yeah, I fully agree. The community is a really important thing, especially because they watch out for you at the end of the day. If there's ever any problems or if they ever see you getting into any trouble, they will guide you into the right direction.
Great. Can you each tell us about the project that you worked on this summer, and then, which one felt most meaningful to you?
I was working on a couple of different projects. I was working on a map that is going to be used to help our donors see the impact that Hacienda is really making throughout the state. I was also working on getting all of our contacts updated for our newsletter. And then I was also working on our SharePoint and just kind of making sure that internally all of our files looked right and made a little more sense. I think the one that felt most meaningful to me was probably the map, just because I feel like when donors see, you show them everything that Hacienda does, but it's so much more to just go and actually see these places and really tour them and see the impact that they're making on real people rather than just kind of numbers and yeah.
And Giselle shared the map this morning to a group of the leaders at Hacienda, and it's interactive and it's amazing. It's just we all kind of were blown away by it, so I can't wait for everybody to see it.
I've been doing a lot of community work this summer. I've gotten the chance to work with our Expresiones programs and the food pantry, and I've been working on a food pantry handbook so we can have all of the procedures and everything just laid out. But I think what's been the most impactful and what I felt is the most important that I've done is just what I've gotten to do working one-on-one with residents and working with kids in the Expresiones programs and working with doing more of the community work stuff.
Yeah, I've done many projects while in my time with Hacienda. I cleared up the entire, what's it called? What do you call that?
The personnel files.
Yeah, I cleared up the entire personnel files. I uploaded them all digitally, so we all have a 7-year background now. I was working with accounting as well with their accounts payable system, and most recently I've helped out with the lending program. So I kind of just created a little spreadsheet or a little Excel sheet that they could use, or a format that they could use for future lending personnel and stuff like that to implement that. But by far the most impactful one would have to be so far the lending program, because that was where I got free reign and I got to build my own structure when it came to the Excel sheet, and I don't know, I was really proud of that Excel sheet.
Nice.
I love Excel.
Yeah.
The finance major. Was there a moment during your internship when something clicked, when you thought, this is why this work matters?
I think for me, it was talking with Maria, who runs our Mira Flores Expresiones program, and she was talking about the rates of higher education that kids who go through her program reach, and compared to the rates of Latino kids that typically go to higher education. And she had much higher rates of kids who were engaged in school, went to college post-grad. And that's something that I really realized, even just these smaller interactions with the kids, giving them a space where they have an adult figure that they trust, even if it's not really doing super educational stuff, makes such an impact in their life path and in their education as well. And that's something that really made me realize oh wow, this is super, super important work.
I think for me, it was literally on my second day, I got the chance to go to this pistachio thing with empresarios, and it was super cool to see people live out their dream and kind of start seeing where it starts and seeing where it's going, and just kind of see the product itself and see something that they created. It was really cool.
And for me, the most beautiful experience was seeing, again, part of the lending thing, of helping people out with home ownership and also small business, being able to start a small business. I feel that's really beautiful, and that kind of gives back to the community and gives various more opportunities as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to talk about our, your growth and reflection during your internship. What's one skill or lesson you're taking with you from this experience?
I became a Salesforce expert.
Yeah.
Yay!
Let's go.
That is the one thing that I'm taking with me. I learned Salesforce from beginning to end, and I don't know, I know that I'm gonna use it in the future, but I'm just wow, I really did so much with Salesforce.
Yeah, I think I've gotten a good experience in learning how to translate like what I'm doing in community work to the more administrative side, because I think previously most of my experience in more administrative stuff is very separate from the community work that I had done, even though I had done both. And so being able to kind of combine those of seeing like how can we get the best procedures to help the process of like then actually being there for the process as well, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, what was the question again?
Yeah, what's one skill or lesson you're taking with you from this experience?
Definitely working within accounting, just specifically like with micro. I feel like that was a really fun skill to learn. I had the opportunity this time to also talk with the red team about how they conduct finance, and like seeing what they do was really beautiful. I don't know, it was really cool to see. Yeah.
That's cool. Was there someone at Hacienda, a mentor, a colleague, even a community member, who inspired or encouraged you in a lasting way?
For me, I think it was Carlos, honestly.
That's for all of us.
I was sitting for the first couple months. During my internship. He was sitting right next to me. So just kind of seeing how he always comes in with a smile, and no matter if he had like 20 grants due the next day, he was always smiling and always had the best attitude towards everyone. So I think that I'd want to continue that and just being positive through anything. And because I know that if he had like a million things to do the next day, he did not care, and he would really stop to ask and interact with you, see how you were doing. So I think it was Carlos for me.
And Carlos is our senior grant writer.
For me, I think partially, I already mentioned Maria, but I think that Maria, I really got a chance to speak with her more in depth. I went to work on site with her every Monday, and I got to really talk with her about like her experience. She's been here for, I think she's coming up on her 11th year here. And like being able to just hear like how she's seen these kids grow and how she's seen the impact personally was definitely really impactful on me, because I was able to kind of see the long-term growth from the type of work that we do.
Yeah. And she works in our Expresiones program.
Yeah, her site is actually really close to here, and there's actually a pretty nice recording that we have of her kids coming and singing in here, and yeah, she does a lot of like music programming with the kids too, which really excites them. And
Yeah.
a lot of good homework help too.
Yeah, she's done a lot. I think she does a good job at if a kid has an interest in something, letting them lean into that instead of just saying like you have to do educational based stuff. Like if there's somebody who wants to do music, she's like, all right, then let's get you the resources and you can do that.
For me, it was a mix of two people, specifically like Melissa and Denny. They were like, since they were mainly like, what's it called? They were people that were supervising me, but they were still some of like the most nicest, accommodating people that I've ever met. If I ever had a question, they were always willing to help. They were super understanding, and yeah, it was really cool working with them. It was nice. It was a great experience.
And Melissa's our HR manager, and Denny's our controller. And so in Arturo, we all sit back in a corner together with Melissa and Denny as well. So they've been awesome with working with you. It's been neat to see.
And I think you've talked a little bit about this already, but what is something that you feel proud? And I know like you talked about like, oh, something that you feel proud about like doing for Hacienda, but like what about the community that we work with? What's like the proudest thing that you've done that you feel like has impacted the community?
For me, it wasn't even part of my department, but just being able to help out with the food pantry, definitely like that was a really beautiful sight to see, just because it was firsthand. You see them firsthand, just right in front of you, helping them out with any of their needs, any of that, and it was really beautiful to have that experience.
I was going to say the same with food pantry. I worked in it every other week, like every time it happened, and especially when I'd worked there enough times where like the residents started knowing me and knowing my name, and I was like, oh wait, this is really cool that it's like I'm actually making a direct impact on these people, and like we like sort of have this like we know each other, and it's not just like, yeah, I don't know, it felt kind of, that's something that I really felt was important.
Yeah, I think for me, the food pantry as well. I think, like, as they were saying, just kind of being there and seeing the people. I didn't go too many times, but it was nice to see and just, like, firsthand being able to help them out in any way.
And looking back to the start of the summer, how do you think you've changed the most, either personally or professionally?
I think professionally, I used to always think that I wanted to work a kind of like office job, just like sitting and like doing kind of the same thing, and then working on site so much, and then comparing that to like when I do have to sit down and do like administrative stuff, I've realized I just get so much joy from working in community, and that's really the exciting part of this job, is being able to work one-on-one with residents and that's something that's kind of shifted what I think the direction I want to go in career-wise, is that I definitely want to do something where I'm out interacting with people and not just like sitting doing office work.
I think for me, it was, I've always known that I've wanted to work in an office, and it was really nice to be able to see what it would actually be like in the future. So it kind of just cemented the idea that I do want to work in an office in the future, and that this is really what I want for me.
For me, it was definitely professionally as well, mainly on the aspect of being able to work in an office job. For the longest time, even now, I still suffer like a little bit through like imposter syndrome. I sometimes don't feel like I don't belong in my university or even in like office related spaces. So it was really nice to see like this type of environment that's mainly Latino, it's mainly like Latino funded, Latino owned. And it was really nice to see like people like me, Latino men, working in office spaces as well. Like that was really impactful for me, and I feel like I do have a space and I do belong in these type of areas.
Nice.
All right. Looking ahead, when you imagine your career or your path after school, how do you see this internship shaping it?
I think for me, well, like as I was saying, I think it really cements that I do want to be working an office job, and it really allowed me to grow and kind of see the things that do work for me and that don't work for me, or what kind of environment I want to be in. I did love that it was, like Arturo said, such a Latin. You were surrounded by people who looked like you. So I think maybe looking for assuring myself that I am in a diverse space once I do apply for a job, because I know that it was something that brought me comfort to be around people like me.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So looking ahead, when you imagine your career or your path after school, how do you see this internship shaping it?
I think it's sort of similarly to what I had said on the last one, is just realizing that there are careers where you can primarily do community work or have a mix of like being able to do that as like a stable career. Because I feel like I've always done community work, but more on a volunteer or like that sort of basis. Like it's a club through school or it's a volunteer position or something like that. But realizing like, oh, there's actually all these really cool careers that I can do where it's not just like sitting and doing spreadsheets, even as exciting as that sounds when you guys are doing it. It just feels like I feel like that's just the type of thing where I've found I've really enjoyed my experience working on my feet, working with communities, being able to kind of go between the two of like doing the office work, but also like interacting with people every day and having that be your job.
Nice. Yeah. Spreadsheets are more fun when you're like listening to music or when you're locked in. You know, you got to get into the flow of it for sure.
I was about to mention spreadsheets too.
He gets it. He's like, yeah.
This experience really reassured me that I do want to work with numbers within my future specifically. Yeah.
Nice. We'll have to get you one of those stickers that say, I love spreadsheets. If you could give advice to the next group of interns coming into Hacienda, what would you tell them?
I would say have fun, make friends, talk to people. It's a very casual environment. I feel like whenever you come in, especially like an office space of like a nonprofit or something, you kind of feel like, oh, like I have to be like serious and have to be like, I don't know, super professional. But like people here are very laid back and making friends is easy. So just talk to people.
I think, I think like my first month, I kind of closed myself off. And now I wish I wouldn't have, because now I've like talked to so many people around the office and I've become so much closer with so many people around the office that, all I can say is kind of be open-minded the first couple months or the first month, and don't think that it's like such a serious thing. Like, yes, you are coming to work, but like I said, Carlos has fun every day and he still gets the money.
Yeah, I completely agree with both of those statements. Coming into this internship, I was very scared. Not scared. Yeah, because I came in with like a suit and not
You did.
like a tie. I thought that was the norm, and I didn't expect that. And then coming in, like I didn't really know how to speak in like an office environment, so I was a lot more quiet. But Vanessa definitely changed that. Solo es pura carilla, and I really appreciated seeing something like that. So that kind of like changed my perspective. So definitely for the next people that are coming, just have fun, enjoy yourself. Don't be so serious, I guess. But yeah.
What about emails? I feel like for me, one of the things that I struggle the most with, like the office environment, is like responding to emails like the proper way, right? Like, you have any experience like that, or like did you know already like how you like hello. The greetings. Thanks for your help. Blah blah blah. Like, how did you know all of that before?
No, I was very cordial in my emails, and then the response back was the opposite.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. No.
Thumbs up.
No, that would be me. You know, like, but I've learned to like do the proper pleasantries and all of that on my emails now. But like, that's you talk about like the office speak, and I just thought about that. I'm gonna skip this question because I think you already talked about like the most memorable things, and I'm gonna go all the way to what is your plan after college?
I'm going back to school after college again. Yeah, I'm gonna try and go towards my master's in finance. Maybe my safest option is UO again, but hopefully this September I have time to like study for my GMATs, so I could like at least go out of state and go to a different school. Yeah, for my master's.
I'm also going to do higher ed. I've been between either master's programs in public health or a PhD in public health, but ultimately right now what I study is kind of how things like Hacienda or different like infrastructure things, like providing nutrition, providing things like that can impact the overall health of a community. And that's something that I want to go on to like study in a more academic sense as well.
I think for me, I want to get my MBA right after I graduate college, and even then. But if not, then I think just going into an office job or looking. I haven't quite figured that part out.
Okay, if I reword a little bit, after you're done with school, like, what are your plans? Like,
After all that education.
Oh, after a master's, just get a PhD. Yeah. Boom. They're one ahead of you.
Well, right now I was looking. I'm doing accounting too, along with my marketing thing. So I think becoming a CPA is kind of my next step.
Nice.
For me, I actually really love school, and I'm kind of like, there's never an end to my education. Like, I'm just gonna keep getting PhDs, guys. No. But after I get my PhD, I want to work in research, or ideally maybe be a professor in that. And I think that I want to be able to have the freedom to do research and teach it, and like the schedule that comes with that, and then also through my research be able to do like community work with that. Because I feel like once you're in that higher position, you kind of get a lot more freedom and free reign. I've done some research projects now, and I've really liked working in that field. So.
Me, whatever gets me a job, honestly. I'm kind of just open when it comes to finance, either corporate or wherever it leads me. I'm really excited to where that could lead me, but I'm gonna definitely like keep doors open with different companies or like different people, like specifically Trio. Trio was a really impactful thing for me. Like Upward Bound was really helpful towards like my adolescence and kind of led me towards college. So I'll definitely like stay in communication with them in case they need like a speaker or like someone to just help talk, because I know how important it is to like as a kid to see somebody that's similar to you be in these type of positions.
I think also well, my biggest dream is to open my construction company. So hopefully by the time I graduate college. By the time I graduate college, hopefully I can have more of a plan figured out for how I can do that.
Nice. So when you go back into your communities, Arturo, in Eugene, you're going to UCLA back in LA, and you in Vancouver. When you go back into your communities, what are you going to take with you into those communities that you learned this summer?
I think just having the variety in the communities that I have worked in definitely impacts my perspectives, especially as somebody who wants to, do research in these fields. It's good to have varying perspectives of, if I've done community work on certain things in LA, also having that in Portland and seeing how the different cultures of those two places impact like how people interact with each other, how like we approach things like community work. I definitely think that that's been important and definitely will influence my perspectives on this going forward.
Nice.
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. When you go back into your community as a college student, how are you going to use what you learned at Hacienda to impact the community?
I think similar to what Cass said, definitely like the communication styles you use to communicate with different people. I think I've learned to like distinguish between formal and non-formal a lot, and being able to figure out when some people are like talking with people from the food pantry when they just simply want to talk and they don't need to in that moment to like not mentor but just kind of be someone to be an ear.
Nice.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just being able to For me, the main skill that I'm going to bring back to the University of Oregon, I guess, is for multitasking. I work at the Multicultural Center over there, and we have a couple of events that go on throughout the year. And I try and balance that while working for Mecha as well. So just having those things, just being able to balance all those things and all those different projects, I'll definitely bring that type of expertise that I gained from here to those experiences.
Nice.
If Hacienda were a person and you're going to say goodbye right now, like, what would you say?
Honestly, I'm just really grateful for the opportunity. I think I'm the first in my family to be attending college, so I never in a million years knew what an internship was to begin with. So to have figured it out this summer and to have had the privilege to come intern at a nonprofit, especially one like Hacienda that is Latino led, honestly, like, I just appreciate the opportunity so much, and I'm so thankful for this.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I'm very appreciative of the opportunity to work here because I feel like it's just such cool work that I've gotten to do, and the experiences I've gotten from it have just been so great. Yeah, I'm just very grateful to have had the opportunity. All the people have been incredible. The culture of the whole corporation's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. For me, this has been a really beautiful experience. I've never been in an office setting, and to have one that's really strong and close together has been a really beautiful experience.
Yeah, and honestly, I think my biggest thing was seeing my parents and how happy they were, and how kind of them telling everyone that I was working an office job made me really proud of myself and all of the hard work that they've done and sacrifices that they've done for me. And also seeing people like Diana in positions as COO, honestly, it has given me a big impulse because she is just so good at her job, and she was talking to me and telling me that sometimes what you go to school for, it'll lead you in a completely different way, and kind of it's okay to change your plans.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Arturo, Kat, Giselle, for sharing your voices, your journeys, all the stories that you had with us and the community. You listen and you learn, and now you are stepping forward with courage. And to our listeners, we hope you've been inspired by the roots of these young leaders that have planted seeds this summer and will continue to grow in our communities.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and thank you, Kat, for bringing your fresh ideas and a big heart to young people in our community. To Giselle for bringing your talents of storytelling and connection to help share Hacienda's mission to the wider community. And Arturo for working behind the scenes with your attention to detail and thoughtful approaches to both HR and finance. This has been episode 4 of Raíces de Hacienda, Seeds of the Future.
And until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep building a future rooted in community. The podcast, Raíces de Hacienda, has the purpose to celebrate the voices, journeys, and cultural roots of the people who make Hacienda what it is. Through storytelling, we uplift the lived experiences of our staff, their triumphs, challenges, and deep ties to community and culture. Rooted in Latina traditions and values, this podcast is a space for authenticity, connection, and pride. By sharing our stories, we grow a collective narrative that honors identity, builds belonging, and reminds us that our voices are powerful tools for healing, reflection, and transformation.